Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia, and this is TransurfingTV. And today, objectivity. This is really the cherry on top of the transurfing modality for me. It's being able to let go a little bit of feeling the damaging effects of polarized thinking, right? Of really, viewing that I'm right and they're wrong. You're wrong and I'm right. And this is the way that it is. And this is the way that it has to be. And this is what's good. And that's what's bad. And I've talked a lot about non-duality lately, right? And the power of non-dualistic thinking, that once you stop trying to throw everything into a category of good or bad, right? This is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. First of all, it's much more relaxing to just be like, this just is, right? And there's all kinds of ways that I could view any particular subject that would be detrimental to me and my reality and my intentions. And there are lots of ways it could also be beneficial, right? So learning to be more objective thinking, learning to see things from other people's perspectives, learning to really fall back on the statement, there's evidence to support all theories. Nobody is wrong. Everyone is right. Therefore, trying to enforce your will on your external environment is futile. It doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't do anything for you. So I read a quote just a few moments ago. I was looking at quotes about objective thinking and objectivity. And this quote was, I think, perfect objectivity is an unrealistic goal. Fairness is not. So this isn't about you trying to force yourself into a place of being, solely objective, right? This is about, you can still hold on to whatever beliefs that you have, but you can also see other people having their beliefs and acting from their beliefs as being fair. Like, okay, that's fair. That makes sense. From their layer of reality, what they're experiencing and what they have to work with and their thoughts and their views and all that stuff, that's fair that they have that opinion, right? Or that's fair that they do that thing that way, or it's fair that they act that way. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, sometimes there's the exception. And of course there is, but it's about you sort of setting the intention that you are not going to throw yourself into the role of the indignant fighter, as Vadim puts it, and be like battling with other people and your reality. Because remember, and I'll get to this at the end of what I have to say here, this is an imbalance and creates a wonky image reflected to your mirror that's obviously going to get more coming in your direction that you could feel indignant about, or you could fight about, or you could constantly be at battle with in your reality. So the idea is to lessen the battle and learn to, if it's not objective thinking along the lines of fairness, right? Before I end my talk, remember to like this video, comment below. My world is taking care of me to enter my daily giveaway for my reprogramming stickers and Reality 2.0 teachable course down below. Join us on Facebook. Please subscribe. Click the subscribe button. We greatly appreciate your subscription. So, okay, a few points that I have here. first asking yourself, how can you see things from the more balanced, that's fair standpoint? So again, evidence to support all theories. One of the ITI members once said, and it was really very powerful for me to hear this, because I had believed it for a while since I found the book, but hearing somebody else say it, I was like, God, it's so true. But what she said was the statement, evidence to support all theories alone, that statement alone has the ability to completely transform your reality. Just that statement. Because again, dualistic thinking, or, doing this thing, I'm right, they're wrong, or this is the right way, this is the wrong way, all that polarized sort of thinking it doesn't do anything good for us, right? It keeps us not only in a position of needing to apply a value to everything, or throw a person into one category or another, or an event into one category or another. It becomes not only a chore, but oftentimes we mess up because we will deem something bad or not good, when in fact our world could be handing us exactly what it is we need. Maybe somebody's coming to you with an alternative opinion about something, and instead of you looking at it and saying, you know what, that's fair, that person has their own accounts of things and their own experiences, they're bringing this opinion to me, which I could very well possibly benefit from, right? That's fair, maybe I can benefit from this. But a lot of times people are just like, no, that's bad, that's wrong, and I'm right and you're wrong. And again, remember the mirror. This can be extremely damaging. So how can you see things from a more balanced, that's fair perspective, and maybe gain some value the next time you are challenged? And I know a lot of people are going to say, I'm not going to do that. But maybe somebody in your family or somebody in your life has an opposing political view, right? And you've been at odds with them, or you've had arguments with them, or there's been discord or something like that. How could you possibly, just for a game, just for fun, take on the stance that's fair and see what there possibly is to gain that's of value from the other person's perspective? How does frailing play a role here? So this is kind of the magic of transurfing also. I mean, we oftentimes address our challenges with other people by meeting their inner intention with our own inner intention. And that's where the conflict ignites, right? So somebody feels a specific way and they're bringing their inner intention to the equation. And then you come up with your inner intention and your need to be right and your voice to be heard and your this to be that or whatever. And then boom, the inner intentions collide. And that's where there's conflict. So if you are challenged by someone in your reality, in your life right now, it could be a friend, it could be a relative, it could be your spouse, how could you possibly think about what is on the table from an objective standpoint, and instead of trying to present your case or be the indignant fighter or, creating your battle and then going into it, right? How can you frail that other person by meeting their inner intention with you bringing their inner intention to the equation, right? So this is where someone brings their inner intention and you acknowledge their inner intention rather than you bringing your inner intention. This is frailing. This is you taking into consideration their inner intention and playing on that. So maybe the best way to have your reality achieve a new level of balance is to stop fighting with everyone and just simply play into what it is they're saying. Who cares? Yeah, you're right. Who cares? And giving them what it is they want, so you're not creating that inner intention, conflict, and getting your mirror doing weird stuff, right? Doing weird stuff. So finally, how has your imbalance of polarized thinking affected your mirror? So right now, for those of you that have made it this far, I want you to ask yourself one way that you have been thinking in a polarized kind of way. I'm right, they're wrong. This is the right way of being. That's the wrong way of being. This is the right political belief. That's the wrong political belief. One way that you have been luxuriating in some kind of polarized thinking, and just think for a moment of how that may have affected your mirror in some way. So the simplest example of this is you bringing your polarized thinking to an argument, and then of course you experience somebody arguing back at you, right? You're putting out and you are getting back exactly what it is you're putting out. So if you're having arguments with someone right now, if you are at odds with someone in your reality, if you have a tense situation with anyone for any reason, maybe stepping back and asking yourself, how has your imbalance of polarized thinking contributed to you, first of all, affecting your mirror, living in that version of reality, but getting that message that you're putting out coming back to you with more of the same, right? So learning to be either objective, play on someone via frailing, or at the very, very least, as this quote says, I think perfect objectivity is an unrealistic goal. Fairness is not. So how can you approach whatever it is that you are challenged by right now from a position of being able to highlight what's fair there? That's fair, right? That's fair that they think like that. That's fair that he or she thinks like that. That's fair that they're responding like that. And just getting all of that stuff, that tension and that imbalanced message going to your mirror, getting all of that to kind of dissolve and creating a more balanced, stable environment for yourself where you're not just energetically losing out all the time, right? Because that's what it's about. It's about maintaining your energy for the things that matter and letting go, dissolving all that attachment to what does not. So let me know what you think about this video, everybody. Objectivity, and how can you do a little bit more of that in your daily reality, y'all? Remember, like this video, comment below, subscribe, join us on Facebook, all that jazz, and thank you for watching my video. Bye!